Today we're visiting Berryville, Virginia, and we're in the home of Joyce and Travis Miller. Now they're the owners and makers of Wildwood's Hickory Syrup. They've been on the show before, but we wanted to come back so we could share with you how they make the syrup. It's a really amazing story. Joyce and Travis, thank you so much for having us today.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
To our place.
Now, Wildwood's Hickory Syrup has changed. You've changed the name. Tell us what the new name is and why it's changed.
Well, we initially started our little business going to a farm market. So Wildwood's Hickory Syrup came about just kind of made up driving down the road, thought it was clever for the type of product that we had, and there was no really thought into this being a viable business. And as the good fortune has come to us that the business has grown, we thought we should at least research and see if there was any infringement on someone else's business, and we discovered that there, yes, was a Wildwood's natural food producer in the United States. So we thought, well, let's do the right thing and pick a new name, get it trademarked and registered, and move forward from there.
And now it is Falling Bark Farm.
That's
Right.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for our viewers who may not have seen the show you were on before, you guys make syrup out of hickory bark, like this bark that's sitting right here.
That's correct. Now that particular bark has come from a shagbark hickory. Our product is a product of a variety of hickories, but this particular bark sheds naturally from the shagbark hickory tree. The other barks come to us as a byproduct from cabinet makers, woodworkers, where there's no further use left to the material, and then therefore we do the blend and developed our recipe around that availability.
So Travis, you mentioned a recipe, but what gave you the idea to say, hey, we should be able to make syrup out of hickory bark?
Well, we were actually looking at a lot of different products to take to the farm market. Hickory syrup was not on our list. So in researching those other ideas through the internet, looking for variations, things that tied in with all seasons, all different food groups, as you know, anything that you might search on the internet, sometimes you get a little distracted or off your focus and you end up with reading about something you had no intention on. And that's basically what had happened here. We started reading about hickory and ended up into hickory smoke, and then we ended up into the hickory syrup idea.
We also found out there weren't too many people in the country making it, so we knew we had the resources and decided, and Travis said, you know what, we can make this. We can really do it. And I said, okay, I'm on board. Here we go.
Yep. So we made the product, shared it with our family and friends, and got their feedback. And really, the whole product has been evolving probably for the first 12 months into what we found that we really preferred. And with the introduction to the farm market, exposed our product to a lot of folks, and we were well received, and we just took it from there.
And you guys have grown. About how many bottles do you, I don't know how you do your counts, is it weekly or monthly, but how much syrup do you sell?
We have a bookkeeping system now, so it's just a matter of click and
Okay.
everything comes up. So when we saw you last, we were selling about 11,000 units a year. This year, by the end of the year, we're on track to sell 30,000 bottles.
It's amazing. I want to talk a little bit about the bark. You prefer the shag hickory bark. Tell us why and where you get it from.
Well, the shagbark, initially that's what our product was made from, because the availability was a matter of just going out in the woods and foraging for it. So you would just look on the ground around the shagbark hickories and you would pack that up and haul it out. So we have since learned that the hickory bark in general is the highest plant source of magnesium. And once again, the bark from the shagbark is blended with other hickory barks, because we now have some suppliers who have volunteered to help us on our way in keeping our inventory so that we can produce more volume.
Okay. And Joyce, you had mentioned to me off camera about some of your suppliers and how this has all come about. Share that story with our viewers.
We've been to street shows and One time a young guy's mother came up to us and said, listened to the whole story, and she goes, you know, my son works for a company and they supply barbecue places with hickory wood. They have to pay somebody to haul the bark away. Would you guys be interested? We said, yeah, we'd be interested. Tell us where to be and when to be there. So we ended up showing up and asked them how much the bark would cost, and they said, you'd be doing us a favor by hauling it away.
Wow.
And since then, 2 or 3 other businesses, either lumber exporters, or woodworkers.
Well, this does not look very appealing to eat. So I want you to walk us through the process. That's why we're here today. We want to see exactly how you guys do this. How do you take this and turn it into this delicious syrup?
Well, once the bark has come to us from the foragers or suppliers, we're going to take that and we just do a manual scrubbing of the bark, just like you might imagine with a scrub brush and water. Once that process has been completed, we'll take and do an open flame roasting. We initially started out using ovens, and now the open flame process seems to be a little more efficient and gives us what we thought was a better tasting product. So once that has been done, we'll go ahead and do our extraction. We have either an aging or resting process that goes on after the extraction's been done. We'll take that particular product and filter it out. We do multiple filterings on that. Then it's brought in and heated to 211 degrees with an appropriate amount of sugar that's been regulated with a hydrometer. After that, it's filtered for the last time, and then it's bottled in excess of 185 degrees. That's our base product. If it was something that involved brandy adding, we would do that during the cooking process. The alcohol is gone, and that just becomes an infusion of flavor at that point. If it's the one that you see here in front, that has been actually produced. It's been stored in used rye whiskey barrels from a local distillery, Catoctin Creek Distillery in Purcellville, Virginia. After 100 days, that's taken back out of the barrels, reprocessed again, and then bottled. And that's what you see here on the table for us.
Now, how many different flavors or varieties of this syrup do you offer? Because you just talked, we have whiskey that's been infused from the whiskey barrel,
Yes.
and brandy.
Yes.
And what are the others?
Well, we'll take the original product that I first spoke about, and we'll bottle it with a whole vanilla bean that we put down inside each bottle. And those vanilla beans that we use are certified organic. The longer the bean stays in the bottle, the more of that infusion that takes place. So that would be a vanilla infused hickory syrup. I mentioned we do one with brandy. We also do a combination of those two. We'll take the brandy syrup and we'll bottle it with that vanilla bean, so you have brandy and vanilla. So that's a total of 4 that we offer currently.
So every flavor of your syrup begins with the original hickory syrup.
That's correct.
And then you make changes to that according to the flavor.
That's correct. That's our baseline product there.
Now, last time we talked, you guys were doing this by yourselves because you were supposed to have retired, and then you came up with this idea and all of a sudden it took off. Well, since then, you've tripled your production. Is it just still the 2 of you doing all this?
Right now, pretty much it's the 2 of us. Every now and then we get some volunteers to help at a show, so we can go to two shows on one day, and every now and then we have some people come in to stir the pot a little bit and help us make some syrup. But right now we're at a crossroads, I think, aren't we?
Sure.
And we have to decide whether we're going to go bigger and hire people, or if we're going to stay the same. We have to make a few decisions.
Well, we're sitting in your kitchen, which is also your production plant.
Right.
You're making all your syrup right here. You're bottling all your syrup right here. So do you need to move out of this to get into a bigger area to accommodate the demand you've had?
Well, that's what we're exploring right now. Joyce and I have struggled about what is the right thing to do, because we recognize that this point in our life that more may not always be better, as we develop the business. So right now what we're doing is just taking it day by day. We're taking steps currently to expand the facility, and that would in turn allow us to bring in additional help on a regular basis, and then allow us to be able to make decisions about should we work to expand the business, or does that just actually give us more free time, or to take care of the other details that sometimes get missed?
Now you guys do private label syrups as well for a lot of tourist venues in Virginia.
Right, mostly historical locations.
Tell us about that. Who has private labels through you guys?
We're expanding that all the time. Right now we have Belgrove Plantation, Frontier Culture Museum, Morven Park in Leesburg. We have Mount Vernon, Monticello, Woodrow Wilson Library and Museum in Stanton, and Poplar Forest in Forest, Virginia. Thomas Jefferson's Poplar Forest. Yeah. That's our latest addition.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things we have sitting here on this table. Let's start with the honey. This is premium raw honey with cayenne and lime. So what's the story behind the honey? Because this doesn't come from the bark, does it?
No, it doesn't. The honey, we do have bees ourselves,
okay.
And we first got involved on the bees, one to do our part to help stabilize the population here in the country, where we understand that 50% of all the honeybees in America no longer are here. So a lot of folks would approach our booth when we were doing direct marketing thinking we had honey, and then learning that the product available was syrup. So we thought one day, well, we'll take some of our honey. So we did that. Now that has been expanding quite rapidly as well. All the honey is a raw honey. It's just had a light filtering to remove, we'll say, bee parts, wings and legs and wax, and it's never been heated. So what makes us different than most places in the honey area is that we're offering these different infusions. The one you read was a chili and lime, which has become quite popular. A lot of people use that as a something to glaze at the end for a little caramelization, or even to use in a salad dressing. So that's just been an addition to the family of products that we were offering with the syrups. And our most recent adventure really has been the coffee beans. We take green coffee beans and we allow them to become enriched inside of used rye whiskey barrels. Once that's been completed, they're locally roasted, and that's a product we're now offering.
Well, it's wonderful, and I think that you're making such a good product, and people obviously are liking it, and you're doing a super job with it.
Well, thank you very much.
We appreciate that.
Right now we're partnering with maybe 160 different businesses, whether it be restaurants or retail centers, anything from big box stores. Yeah. Could be Whole Foods, or like Troy says, health food stores, mom and pops, or Christmas tree farms, have been taking notice and in the marketplace to offer something besides Christmas trees, and we tie in nicely with that season.
And also the folks who are helping us with our coffee beans, the roasters, Black Dog Coffee in West Virginia, they roast our coffee beans for us.
Yeah, because some of the uses are in hot drinks, whether it's coffee or tea, for the syrups, and of course that ties in nicely with the honeys as well.
Okay, all right. Now, if someone wants more information on your products or where they can buy them, where should they go?
Well, on our website
we can either do fallingbarkfarm.com or wildwoodshickorysyrup.com. We still trade as that until this whole transition takes place. So you can go there, and under where to find us, we have many of our supporters listed there.
Okay.
Speaking of supporters, we really would like to thank everybody out there who supported us this.
Yeah, we continue to grow exponentially.
Yeah, and every single person who's ever bought a bottle of syrup or some honey, coffee beans, vanilla extract, and just, they're our biggest cheerleaders.
Travis and Joyce, thank you so much for having us out today. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome anytime.
We'll be right back.